Hi, I'm Bart Hansen. I'm the owner and lead instructor for CrushLivePoker.com. The following hand comes from our call-in show that we record at 4:45 p.m. Pacific Time every Monday. If you want to call in your hand, check out the instructions in the video description. So 1-3-800 effective. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm not the effective stack on this one.
Okay.
But the hand opens, hijack raises to 15. And then it folds around to me on the button. So he was holding ace of spades, 10 of hearts.
Ace of spades, 10 of hearts. Okay.
Right. Hijack had shown a little bit of openness earlier, so he'll call down. So I kind of wanted to build a pot at this point, so I just 3-bet 40.
So
I just wanted to isolate a
so
little bit more.
Hijack to 15, and you make it 40 on the button?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I think this one's pretty...
Hijack's pretty well stationed.
Yeah, see, his station, if he's opening loose, if he's a loose player and he's calling a lot, I don't have a problem with it. Just, ace-10 offsuit's not necessarily a great hand, and we've talked about this quite a bit on Crush Live Poker, some of the stuff. When the hand is close to being... What you want to take the bottom playable hands that you have and call with them, not raise them. That's different than what people used to think, which is like, oh, I want to raise my offsuit combos and I'll call with my suited combos. It's actually the other way around. That's what the computer modeling has said about the way that hands interact. So, and I think people look at that the other way. Do I have a problem with you 3-betting ace-10 versus a loose hijack? No. I mean, I 3-bet ace-jack against Live at the Bike this week that I'm talking about on my podcast tomorrow against an upfront opener as an exploit because the guy was really loose. So, okay, you make it 40.
And Big Blind actually calls. Now, Big Blind is going to be the villain on the hand.
Okay.
So he's got about 480 effective. He is a little bit more of a regular player. He's shown a few moves, and he's shown he's capable of making some moves.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't call him necessarily. There's a lot of flaws in there as well. So he's not like someone who's just going to be, need to watch out for this guy. I just know he's a lot different than a lot of the other players at the table.
And did hijack also call?
Yeah, hijack calls. So we got 3 before it. And 25 in the flop.
Okay.
In the pot, I mean. So the flop comes ace of hearts, jack of clubs, 9 of diamonds.
Okay, so you flop top pair, ace of hearts, jack of clubs, 9 of diamonds. You're the pre-flop 3-better with ace-10 offsuit, ace of spades, 10 of hearts. Okay.
Yeah, not the best spot, but it does check around to me. Mm-hmm. So I throw 65 just as a continuation bet, see if I can't thin it out. And Big Blind does fold, but the hijack calls.
Okay. I mean, it's not. I mean,
I'd take that. That's backwards. Big Blind folds, hijack calls. He's the one who made the initial raise, the one that was a little more loose.
Yeah, hijack calls, right? Big Blind folds, hijack calls.
What?
Okay. Just try talking to your microphone.
I'm backwards, Bart. I'm sorry. I am backwards. I'm just sitting here trying to read what I had typed out earlier.
So it's.
So I'm now correct.
The big
blind calls.
Okay.
And then the hijacks are folded.
Okay, so just try to talk into your mic a little bit because we're losing you a little bit. So big blind calls, hijack folds. Okay, so this guy called cold called 3 bets now. Just a little bit of your terminology. Like, I mean, it's not really betting to like thin the field out. I think you're betting here, for value. I mean, you bet 55 into 160, about half the size of the pot. People are going to show up sometimes with ace queen and sometimes even ace king here. The board's connected enough though that you probably could make a bet here. I mean, I don't have a big problem with it. I think you can sometimes check too, but you're not really betting you're not betting for information or necessarily thinning the field. But okay, so
yeah, and it's just kind of like pre-flop. We're talking about ace-10, and it's just in that range where I don't really consider it value. More of I mean, it is value. Top pair, 10 kicker.
Sure.
At the same time, I need to see where I'm at in some instincts of it. So I got it down to heads up.
Right now, but I will
3 of hearts.
Okay, the turn's at 3 of hearts. I will say that the big blind calling you is stronger on the flop than the hijack because the big blind's next to act and the hijack's going to deal. Okay, turn 3 of hearts, backdoor heart draw now. Ace of hearts, jack of clubs, 9 of diamonds, 3 of hearts. You hold ace of spades, 10 of hearts, and the pot is probably something like 250, right? 250-ish, something like that.
Yeah, we're right in that ballpark, 125, 130, yeah. 255 maybe.
Okay.
So he checks,
yep.
And I bet out for 125.
So you bet half the size of the pot.
Half pot.
So by the way, right, you bet half the size of the pot. So by the way,
yeah.
the big blind starts with 480, so he's actually the effective stack, right? Because that's obviously
Correct.
important. Okay, so he's put in 55 on the turn and 40 pre-flop, so he's put in 100. So he's got 380 left on the turn. The pot is 250. You bet 125. So now, if he calls, the pot will be like 500, and he'll have like about 250 left. I mean, I could go either way with it here on the turn. Um, it might be optimistic to get two streets. I might, if there was a spot where I would consider checking versus betting, I would consider betting and maybe checking back against the hijack here on the turn, and maybe checking this one back because of the configuration of the big blind calling you next to act, because the board is rainbow, right? Ace of hearts, jack of clubs, nine of diamonds. So he called three bets cold, and he's called your flop C bet next to act. Ace 10 might be a little bit too thin here to go for two streets. I don't, unless the guy's like so loose that he's calling with like any ace to three bets cold in the big blind or a suited ace, but you might be going a little bit, you might be overplaying just a tad here because of the configuration, in my opinion. But what ended up happening? You bet 125.
So he actually went to tank for a little bit on this one.
Okay.
Gave it a few minutes back and forth, and he eventually made the call.
Okay. Big blind calls. Okay. So what's the river?
So the river now hits a four of hearts.
Four of hearts. Okay.
So the villain sits for a second, then he shoves. So you had about 250, 260, somewhere in that ballpark left. He just pushed all in,
So we said so.
which sent me to the tank.
So the backdoor hearts come in. So it's ace of hearts, jack of clubs, nine of diamonds, three of hearts, four of hearts. I'm gonna do some quick math here. What is it? It was 120, 230, 480. So he's shoving somewhere around 230 to 250 into like 480. It's basically a half pot size shove, right? Ish, something like that.
Yeah.
You're gonna be getting about 3-1 here. This one is kind of dicey here, Charles. That's a big bet at 1-3 here. And I don't know what he'd be turning into really a bluff. Now, it is interesting that you have the 10 of hearts in your hand, which means that when you start to look at some of the straight draws that might turn a flush draw, like King 10, Queen 10 of hearts, right? Remember, he cold called pre. He can't have those.
Mm-hmm.
But could he have a hand like King Jack of hearts, Queen Jack of hearts? He can't have Jack 10 of hearts. I'm trying to think of, did I say, so I say King Queen of hearts, King Jack of hearts, Queen Jack of hearts. I mean, he's really representing obviously a backdoor flush here. Or could he have been slow playing something the whole way like pocket nines? Would he have done this as running into ace four? I don't know, man. I feel like you've got a lot of better hands to call with. I mean, it's good that you've got the 10 of hearts and you block that. So if it's really, really close, that will come into consideration. But I don't know if you're going to be good here one out of. Well, you only have to be good here one out of four times. I think it's probably pretty close.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I thought. Just playing the hand back, I didn't feel a whole lot of strength. I didn't feel like he was slow playing me or anything. So really what it came down to me was, he's got maybe an ace, king, ace, queen.
Uh-huh.
But there's not a whole lot of combos with that left. And then the flush draw just didn't make sense. Like I just kept running through him getting this flush, and I couldn't come up with any combinations that would have played through that way, like what he's wanting to represent. He's not trying to get value, really, because that is a big bet, So it was just polarizing to me, and it didn't feel like a value bet. It felt like a real polar, either nutted or nothing type bet.
I sort of agree that it is probably a polar bet. So we would throw, if it's a polar bet, we're not going to say he's going to have ace, king, ace, queen. We lose to those hands anyways, right?
Right. No, I was discounting those. I didn't feel like it was that type of value type bet.
So what does he miss here? Queen 10 that's not, like Queen 10 suited that's not hearts, that he's trying to represent hearts. I don't think some people in the chat are saying you turning some hand into a bluff. I don't think that's really the case here either. I would just expect him to show up with a flush here quite a bit. And this seems like a big bet to me. So,
So what flushes would you put him on right there then?
King,
Queen of hearts?
King, Jack of hearts, King, Queen of hearts, Queen, Jack of hearts. Um, well, you can't have 10-8 of hearts. You can't have queen 10 of hearts. King Jack, King Queen, and Queen. Was it King Queen, King Jack? I mean, you do cut down on a lot of the hearts because of the 10 of hearts. I mean, that's definitely a valid point. Or a slow played like set of nines. Because I can't
Right.
come up with a
And,
hand that, I mean, I'm just trying to think of the bluffs that he would have here, though. Um, I guess it could be Queen 10 suited. I mean, what did you end up doing? You get, like I said, you got to be good here 1 out of 4 times. So if you think you're good here at 1 out of 4 times and he's capable, then call, obviously.
yeah, I made the call, and he showed over ace of clubs, 7 of clubs.
Wow. So
Yeah, it was
that's
a
crazy.
surprising one to see for him to bet that. But that line just is interesting to me. Just
So
the different.
what if you didn't have the 10 of hearts in your hand? Would you have called?
I don't think I would have, and that's actually what he said to me right after I showed my hand. He said, "Huh, if you didn't have 10 of hearts, would you still call?"
Well,
That's exactly what his words were.
well, that's good though. I mean, that's good that you obviously sort of use. I mean, that this is a really. I mean, I think that the whole blockers thing can be certainly overdone quite a bit, especially at the lower levels. But here, it's not a complex thing for you to look and see that, hey, like I've got the 10 of hearts here, and that's going to block like half of the flush combos that I'm worried about because it's an extreme configuration, right? He cold called 3 bets
Right.
pre, and then he called next to act on the flop. So I think that's good work, Charles, that you because that certainly should come into play. So thanks for the call. I appreciate
Yeah, I
it.
appreciate the walkthrough, man. A lot of good information.
All
You have
right.
a good one.
All right, take it easy. Hey guys, if you like what you've seen here, please click on the subscribe button and you'll get notified every time we put up a new video. And if you want to check out crushlivepoker.com for the first month free, use the code YTA200. Click on the link right there.